Bam, we're live. I'm reading this article this morning about it's funny. It says cultural differences between host country cater and Western visitors have resulted in a series of issues 2 days before the opening match. They're talking about World Cup soccer. Officials announced there would be no alcohol sales in any venues associated with the tournament. The move came as a surprise to Anheuser-Busch, who paid $75 million to be the beer supplier for the games. Then there's also this One Love armband, this rainbow armband. Good morning, everyone. There's this One Love armband that I guess 7 of the European teams wanted to wear, and the FIFA is saying you can't wear that. You have to stick with the official uniform, and it's fucking crazy that they want to wear this armband. I have an inbox full of people who are gay, who cannot stand the LGBTQI plus a thing. They don't want to be affiliated with that shit at all. They want to go back to the LGB. They don't want to be associated with the support of mental illness. I mean, if you just want to be just completely honest, and it's crazy that they're pushing this as a they're calling it One Love, but it has nothing to do with One Love. They're asking these soccer players. There's these European countries that want the soccer teams to wear an armband that supports a kind of sexual intimacy. Same genitalia intimacy. It's fucking nuts. Like, how about this? The soccer game not have any opinion at all on sex. But what's even crazier is you. I think you would be hard pressed to find a lesbian who's for the support of men and women's sports. I mean, show me one. Absolutely nuts. And it's so funny how they're complaining. Shame on those who did not allow armbands, One Love armbands, to support the LGBTQI. I'm proud to wear that armband. I need to get some of these lesbians and gay dudes on the show to talk about this. They want nothing to do with this shit. And then what's so funny is all of a sudden these teams they're bowing down to FIFA and they're like, okay, we won't wear them. Oh, you really stand strong with your opinions, huh? You really care. The whole thing gets painted as Qatar is somehow the bad guy or FIFA is somehow the bad guy. Okay, the compromise is that they can wear an armband that says no discrimination. Okay, I don't know why you have to do that, but okay, fine. The no discrimination armband, fine. But why does a soccer game have to be supporting in colluding and being a codependent to people with mental illness? It's fucking insanity. Hi, good morning, Luke.
Good morning. Good morning. What's up, brother?
I'm just looking at the news.
Nice. I'm just drinking caffeine.
Yeah, caffeine. I'll do some of that too. Hey, dude, I'm looking at this article right now.
Yeah.
They had a protest at the world's largest iPhone factory in China.
About what?
Line in here that just was tripping me out. It says hundreds of workers were seen storming out of their dormitories from iPhone City. So they have 200,000 employees at one factory, and I guess they have dormitories there, and it's called iPhone City. Oh my God.
That sounds wild. That's like Google's headquarters on roids.
Can you imagine living at the iPhone factory?
iPhone City. Yeah, that's wild.
Hey, it's not even gay conservatives. Just gay people in general don't want to be lumped up. Women don't want dudes in their lesbians don't want dudes in their sports. No one wants dudes in sports unless it's dude sports. It's not cool. It's abusive, I think.
I agree.
But that being said, I wish that would come to the CrossFit games and CrossFit would have to deal with that. And I'd love to see transition Matt Fraser in the go against Tia. The ratings would be off the chart.
We were actually just talking about this the other day in the gym. I have to bring it up just because you brought that up.
Please blame me. I can't believe, Sevan, you're making me say this. Put your arm behind your back.
The blame on you already. Angelo put this on the whiteboard. It's pretty interesting. So first, without giving any background information, he puts a bunch of stats on the board. He'll have to tell you the details, but long story short, the stats are like they're the same age, and then it's one person that has zero fighting. Let's just say UFC fighting, zero fighting experience, but they're an athlete. They do CrossFit. They're fit, and the other person has a ton of experience. And then it's like, well, the one that doesn't have a whole lot of experience is taller and weighs more, about 20 to 30 pounds on them, 4 to 5 inch longer reach as far as height goes. Which one wins? For sure, the one that has experience, right? The UFC fighter.
Yeah, I would think.
Well, what if the UFC fighter is a female?
Yeah.
I mean, we don't have to get into it too much, but
we can. If you want to, we can.
We're in an uproar in the gym about it. It was hilarious.
We can.
And then at the end of it, we're all like, all right, well, we need to start DMing some female UFC fighters and get a fight on YouTube.
Oh, that would be awesome. Angelo versus some. I saw a stat the other day that it was like 500 of the fastest high school sprinters male sprinters can beat the woman's world record in the 400 meter. High school boys can beat the fastest woman in the world in the 400, like 400 or 500 of them. I was like, holy shit.
Yeah.
And do you know what women can do? All women, 1,000% of women, 100 can have babies better than dudes.
Amen to that.
All of them.
You can't do it. They're just tough.
All of them, and they can all breastfeed the babies, and they can have an attachment to their boys and their daughters that us husbands will never have.
Well said.
Yeah, my kids tell me all the time, well, you know, we love mom more. I'm like, good, you should. Go eat your food. Fucking crack you.
Hey man, I gotta applaud you real quick. I hadn't talked to you in a while, but I watched a little bit of those Zalos games. Oh, and man, you guys did a really good job. I thought it was really professional. Not just how it was run, but it was really neat. I don't think I've ever seen that before as far as the broadcast goes. Having you guys, it was almost like, you guys were on like an open conversation as far as like almost a podcast, but it was live. You guys were talking about it right then and there live, multiple different people and opinions, and highly decorated CrossFit career opinions, coaches, just people who are fans of the sport. It was good.
Thanks, dude. That means a lot to me. I saw it as a milestone, and not only in the sport but in technology. If we would have had better bandwidth so you could see the picture better, and a few $1,000 more for microphones, it would have been absolutely nuts. It would have. I'm so excited to try it again. It was really cool. And basically you could go into the judges. I mean, that guy Jared gave us full access, so you could listen to the judges, you could listen to the challenges, you could go to the warm-up area. It was just completely open. Yeah, and Jared's, I think the athletes benefit, don't you? Like the athletes benefit.
Yeah, I mean, for sure. For sure, right? More eyeballs, more people watching, more exposure. And it's better, like you said, for the athlete as far as actually being able to see the athlete. And it's something that we joke around about, like, for example, the CrossFit games, right? And I'm not hating on their broadcast, but I'm also going to hate on their broadcast.
Sure. I do it all the time. Go ahead.
Like, obviously, Rich, and his team, the fans want to see that, right?
Yeah.
But there's some events where someone will be in second place and you don't even get to see them the entire time until the end, until the sprint finish to the finish line, because they'll highlight other teams and stuff. And again, like, to pull away from that, going back to Zalos, it was neat how, like, even the people, whether it was pacing strategies or maybe they weren't as fit, even the people that weren't hanging on to that top time in their heat, I still got to see them where their maybe faults were in pacing or maybe just how they attacked the workout, So I thought that was pretty cool.
And the angle still showed the winner in the back. That's what I liked. You could still see the guy in the back. It's like, hey, it's totally doable.
Yeah.
They really, did you watch Rogue?
A little bit. I didn't watch as much as I would have liked.
There was this one event where they started with a rope climb. It was one rope climb.
Yeah, I watched that event.
Okay. And then so every time they said start, they had a drone in the air that was shooting the rig from the side.
Yeah.
So by the time the drone came around to show the front of the rig, they were all off the rope climb. So for eight heats or 10 heats or whatever that one ended up being, you never got to see the rope climb. Maybe like once or twice. Yeah. It was like, dude, who the fuck is the person calling the camera? I mean, it's cool because it's a drone shot.
Yeah, like, they're trying to go above and beyond the shot, but
yeah,
missing the mark. I did notice that a little bit at Rogue. There was a few times, there's a few lanes because of my friends, right? People I want to see how they do, or people that I think will probably win. And there's a few times they kind of lacked a few angles or didn't get a lane or two till like the last few inches of the sprint finish, you know?
I don't know if it was last year's games or the one before, but I think it was 2 games ago. There was an event where it was like a 7.5 minute event, and Scott Panchik and Travis Mayer were within 1 second of each other the entire time, and they never showed it until the last 3 seconds. And I was like, this is a sport and a competition. We have to see them neck and like that would have been just 7 minutes of tension for us, right? Yeah. Medeiros and Scott.
Yeah.
The old legend and the new fucking bad, or Mayer and Scott, two legends just tearing it up.
Yeah, that's rough.
You think that's mean calling them legends? Like I'm saying they're washed up?
No, it's not mean at all. They would appreciate that. No, it's funny. I actually grew up my first year of CrossFit, like before I moved to Cookeville and joined the Mayhem empire, right? Like I was at Training Think Tank, and Travis Mayer and like all the coaches at Think Tank used to joke around about that because Travis was such a stud, and year in and year out, continuing to show up to the games and put up top scores and freaky stats and stuff, and be there for such a long time. Like even compete against Rich when he was an individual, and like no one knows him because the broadcast just kind of screws him. So they used to always mess with him and kind of poke and prod because it was ridiculous. I mean, honestly, like,
and then this,
right? CrossFit exposure's been rough. I mean,
and then this year, what was kind of funny is that he was winning the Capital event for the entire first half. And so he got like 7 minutes of running. You know what I mean? The camera was just on Travis. It was dope.
That was cool.
And people were complaining. I'm like, no, this is good. This is payback. Yeah. Hey, what happened to that door back there?
So it's actually a sliding closet door. And I was moving some stuff around in my closet. And when I was yanking on it, the little, I guess you can see this,
it came off the track.
The metal thing kind of got twisted up. So I tried putting it back on the track and it wouldn't do it. So I'm just kind of leaning up against the wall, and now it's like a nice little decorative piece.
Yeah, it is.
So I fix it.
You started over there at Training Think Tank, and you walked in the office one day, and there was Travis Mayer, and you said, "I want to be as good as you when I'm your age."
100%. That's my day one story. Well, probably 2 months into CrossFit. I had a local box, and then all the guys were like, dude, the baddest dude in the Southeast where we live is Travis Mayer. You got to visit Think Tank. That's where all the competitive dudes throw down. And then, I walked in. I'm like, hey, man, how do I be like you? Help me out here.
Was he receptive?
Yeah, he was cool. I'm sure he was laughing like, well, got another one of these in the building. And then he looks over and was like, there's Max El Hodge. There's the competitive side. You need to go talk to them. It was pretty cool, though. It was a neat experience. I was with my brother, and we were kind of amazed because we didn't know what to expect. And we walked down this hallway, and we see his shrine, all of his different medals and stuff, like Granite Games gold and all these different medals and jerseys. And we're just like, dang, feel like we're in Rich's compound or something. This is really neat. But it was cool. He was always a big brother to me and tucked me under his wing for that. Solid.
Is he guarded? Is Travis guarded?
Touch more on that. What do you mean?
I get this impression from the times I've talked to him that he's guarded, meaning he's compartmentalized his life. There's Travis, the family man who's at home, and there is Travis the athlete, and he keeps them separate. As opposed to maybe Rich, it's just like you show up there at the house and it's just a pile of Rich.
Yeah,
Like you see the chaos just wide open.
Yeah, I guess that's a good way to put language to it and describe it. I think there's definitely, like anybody, even myself, right? I mean, once you get to know me truly on a deeper level, like you might be able to get to know a different side of me, or I might allow you into different parts of my life. I definitely think there's part of that too, right? Like,
did you ever go to Travis's house for dinner?
no, but I mean,
you've been to Rich's house for dinner.
Yeah.
Maybe you've even gone over there and just opened the cabinet and helped yourself to something.
A few times maybe. But yeah, I mean, Travis was yeah, I guess you put it in a good way as far as having like, all right, I'm at my family life and then I'm going to work, I'm clocking in. But Travis is still really cool about broing out, especially like on like trips, whether we're like out traveling and we're all staying in a hotel and going out to eat together. I remember like at Think Tank, they had a big thing, like their games prep camp. And sometimes we just all pile in a car and go eat somewhere. But it was, yeah, I think you'd have to get to know him for those like walls to break down. But Travis is such a good dude. Yeah, I think he definitely does what you said as far as it's a different, almost like I'm clocking into work and that's CrossFit for me. And then, okay, I'm going back home to my family kind of thing. Kind of like walking in.
It's, dang.
Dude, he's strong.
He is strong, right?
I think people overlook his strength because he's been strong for a long time and he just keeps slowly getting stronger.
It's interesting. Let's say me and you, oh, and he's got a house cleaner, definitely underage house cleaner.
Yeah.
It's interesting when you have kids. So like if me and 5 of my friends went out and I didn't have kids and we were, let's say, just like at some outdoor sandwich shop drinking beers, I would be fully present there.
Yeah.
But when you have 4 kids at home or 3 kids at home, whatever he's got, or 5 or 12, whatever Travis is doing these days, you can't, a part of you has to be mindful. You know what I mean? Like, how many beers should I drink? Should I bring half this sandwich back home to my family? My kid has a game at 4. I can't, you know what I mean? It's kind of weird. You can't be, you're not all in.
Well, yeah. You can't just think about yourself, like you're saying.
Right.
You got to put your family first as far as your thoughts and stuff. I think at the end of the day, Rich is just different. Like, he's more of a social person. He loves thriving around being with close family and friends, you know? Like I'm somewhere in the middle. Like you brought up Travis Mayer as an example. So like, I think he might be more someone that's like, yeah, don't get me wrong. Like Travis can be social and he'll go, whether it's a friend. I mean, Thanksgiving's small, right? Let's use Friendsgiving as an example. I've seen him go to different Friendsgivings and do different things, but when it comes to the majority of his time, he'd rather be at home alone with his family. I'm like that too, but I'm somewhere in the middle. I kind of like being social, but not all the time. I feel like Rich is more of a guy that thrives, like love having a ton of family and friends around, and like it just kind of helps him with his flow. Sometimes I'm like, I don't know, ADD. I'm like, I get distracted if I have too many people around me too often. You know, I need some alone time to focus and kind of clear my head or do my thing or get my own things done. You know what I mean?
Did Travis ask Luke how to get more followers on Instagram? That was a running joke for a long time. Whenever I would see Travis, we would plug his chain. Hey, 12,000 followers. I think he's up over 100,000. Is he up over 100,000?
That's so funny.
No, he's not, Souza. How can that be?
Dude, he's grown a lot.
8 times CrossFit Games athlete, and a beautiful man too. There's no, it's not like there's any shortcoming. He doesn't have any shortcomings. He's kind. He's polite. He's outgoing. He's good looking, and he's one of the best in the game. Who has more, him or Scott Panchik, Souza? Scott does?
Scott Panchik.
How was it? How was it over there at Training Think Tank? Did you just do a transition from there to Mayhem? Was it just like one day you're there and one day you're at Mayhem? Or did the reality show come in between those?
I can't remember how much I told you about this transition because I thought I shared this with you on my first podcast, but it's all good. I mean, I think
you may
maybe
have.
maybe not. Excuse me. Well, energy
Because you
drink
did
first.
some CrossFit before the reality show, right?
Yeah, for a few months, and then I was at Think Tank, first started, and then I go on the show, and then I come back for a little bit of time, and Think Tank was really cool. Travis actually had my back a lot in that time because I was getting a lot of backlash, obviously, right? You're always going to have supporters and you're always going to have haters.
Right.
And then when the
Hey,
platform grows,
that's cool, by the way.
haters,
That kind of filters out the D-bags from your life. Did you actually lose friends that you like friends from that show?
like when you say friends, you mean people like, yeah. I mean, no, I didn't lose friends because
I see. I see what you're doing. Yes. They weren't your friends. But did you lose people who you thought you were friends, who like they saw you the show and they're like, no, I'm not gonna be a friend anymore?
no.
No, okay, good. That makes me
I
happy.
think if there was a few that were like had questions. Like they were skeptical. They're like, huh, yo, what's up with this and that? But it was cool. Like I think for the majority, as in like 99% of my friends were like super supportive, without like any questions. So
You know that would have broken most people.
absolutely.
Like 99% of the people would have gone. Has anyone from that show ever killed themselves?
Um,
Will you look that up? Susan's nodding yes. Bachelorette or Bachelor. See if anyone's ever committed suicide.
I think the question or the answer would be yes, but I don't know necessarily that it's intentional. It was actually kind of rough. I had a guy on my season that had some rough stuff happen, and then some like outside of the show allegations, and they had to pull him from the season early while that we were filming. And
Wow.
we were talking on the phone, and I was trying to keep in touch with him for a while. We were talking actually like thriving. Our conversations were thriving on CrossFit and functional fitness because I had just started CrossFit and I was like doing bodyweight workouts at the mansion with the guys. And it was interesting for a few weeks of us consistently communicating. I texted him a few times and he didn't text me back. And then I got an email saying that he had passed away. But I don't know that necessarily that it was intentional. He had a pill problem and ended up going bad, but
Wow. Yeah, the pressure's nuts.
yeah.
The pressure's absolutely nuts. Okay, sorry. So I interrupted your story. So you're at Train Think Tank, you do the reality show, and then when you're done with that, where do you start doing CrossFit? Let's say the day after you fly home. How soon before you get into a gym, and where do you go?
As soon as I got home, I started doing CrossFit. I was at Think Tank.
Okay, so you went back there.
Yeah, at the time I was kind of like for a few months I was at a box. It was called CrossFit No Edge. Now it's called like North Forsyth Training and Fitness in Cumming, Georgia. And my buddy, I used to help him coach a little bit when I first started because I was trying to learn the sport, didn't know much about it. And I was like, kind of bouncing in and out of his gym doing Think Tank programming. And then I would go hang out with Travis up there at the boys and train at Think Tank. And then
When you mean the boys, you're saying Noah also.
yeah, like Noah, Chandler and them. And like they actually literally a week after I got home from the show, maybe not, maybe a few weeks, we did the games prep camp and I was hanging out. It was kind of interesting. It was like Lucas Parker with the red beard, the Canadian, like Ant Haynes from Hong Kong, who qualified for the games that year. There's a bunch of different games athletes, but the ones that are the most well known, they're like Travis's friends or Chandler Smith and Noah Olson.
Did you bond with Lucas Parker at all? Did you talk to him much?
Yeah, he was an interesting character, but we got to be pretty tight for sure. He was man, he's like a OG
for sure.
That beard is crazy.
For sure.
His content is crazy, but it's so funny.
Yeah, for sure.
He reminds me of what's the guy, the Liver King guy's content.
Oh.
He's like a OG Liver King type of content. And then Yeah, I think I saw him the other day, like, call out Liver King in one of Liver King's barbarian workouts.
Oh, I would like to see both of them in a shot side by side. That would be interesting because I think the Liver King is smaller in person than maybe he looks in his pictures. You know what I mean?
I've heard he's a little shorter than what he looks like.
Yeah, like I think when I saw him standing next to like Logan Paul, like he came up to like Logan's shoulder. But I recognize that Logan Paul's a pretty tall dude.
Yeah.
Okay, so you're over there and you're doing that camp. All good dudes, right? Chandler, Noah, Travis. Seems like just easy.
Easy. Yeah. Such good dudes. Just, yeah. Young, hungry athletes.
Except for Travis. You want to be like him when you get older.
That's right.
How old are you?
He's the grandpa. He's only a few years older than me. I think Travis is what, 30, 31 now, maybe? I'm 28. So I'm actually, on the grand scheme of things, I'm older. But I feel really young because I played sports, college baseball, and then found CrossFit after like 6 months of triathlon training for fun with my brother. And then, yeah, I'm only like 4 full complete years into CrossFit. So my knees and my body feel pretty fresh and new and young, because most of my friends who are games athletes have been doing it for anywhere from 8 to 12 years. And I feel like their bodies are just tore up. Like, even like, I love Angelo. He's I mean, dude's my best friend, right? So like, I gotta mess with him. He jokes around. He's like, I mean, he's got a couple gold medals as a teenager and just did the games with me on a team. And like, he's now, I don't know exactly how many years he's been doing it, but I think it's north of 10. And he's just like, yeah. He always jokes around about retiring soon because of how long he's been doing it. But it's a real thing. Like, it's a lot of not just stress on your body, but mental stress. And I'm already experiencing that as far as the day in, day out. And I'm like starting my official 5th year this season. So, yeah, I mean, I still got ways to go.
I've heard you talk about how the first 6 months were just they weren't your words, but now that you're saying mental stress, it sounds like the way I heard you describe the first 6 months, that it was an absolutely insane amount of mental stress because there was so much work to do. There was nowhere to hide. And you were kind of like, and you weren't all in yet. You were still like, hey, I'm just taking this thing out for a test ride. And I think I even heard you say every day or every workout, you would think, okay, this is my last one, I'm quitting. And then after 6 months, you got over some sort of hump. Is that accurate?
Similarly. So part of me was like, I make the leap of faith to go to Cookeville, knowing that training there in the barn, I was going to make a decision quickly if this is even worth it in my life. Or
no hard feelings from Think Tank when you did that?
No, I was really cool with all of them. It was rough on me though too. Like, I mean, you're talking about a mentality of a guy who does a team with training Think Tank. And I told everybody there, like, I'm never leaving Think Tank. Like, I'm committed to you guys. You can trust me, because when you do team instead of individual, there has to be a trust, right? Because there's teams all the time that happen, and all of a sudden one person just bails out and they're like, yeah, sorry, work came up or family stuff and I'm not committed. And that's kind of scary, right? When you put your trust in other people's hands, as far as like, are they even going to show up? Much less are they actually training hard and trying to be their fittest version of themselves. But anyway, long story short, I'm like, at Think Tank, I confirmed being on their team. I'm like hyping them up, trying to rally up the troops and training with my team there, telling them like, hey, I'm going to lead us to qualify for the games as a first team through Think Tank to qualify for the games. And I want to eventually be an individual athlete, but I want to take the team to the games a few years and get some experience. And then that was when the 2019 games was my first time spectating. I was supporting Travis, Chandler, and Noah, because those were my boys at the time being at Think Tank. And then that was when I met Rich, met the CFO, Brian, and that goes in my story that, met Hillary and all them, and met some Mayhem people. And then that was when I went to visit for nonprofit Mayhem mission stuff and got to connect on all the things, right? Faith, family, fitness, service, all that. And then, yeah, I got kind of like a official invite. And then I was just kind of like, hold up, this is for real. Let me know. I'll pack my bags tonight. And then I packed a U-Haul literally that night and marched my way up to Cookeville. And I've been there ever since. But it was cool. I got to pull all of the coaches and Travis in the offices at Think Tank, and they were all very supportive. Like, hey, like you need to do what's best for you. Like we've appreciated having you. So that was long-winded, but I didn't burn any bridges. I had good relationships with all of them. If I see them at events, I give them all a hug. Travis, especially, and all the other coaches and stuff there at Think Tank.
And then you show up at Mayhem, and then those next 6 months,
Yeah,
even when you go there, 4
it's
months.
about 4 months of like, I wanted to quit every day. I'm so much pain. My body, I'm literally like served up the most humble pie. Like that happens maybe a handful of times, once or twice a month now, every day, every session for 4 months. Like,
and your body's sort of the touch everywhere.
Oh my gosh. Like, I don't know how I survived. And then I made up my mind after about like you said, 4 to 6 months. That was when I was like, okay, I'm all in. And I can tell anybody I know that I'm all in, and I'm going to make this thing happen. Because like I said, like when I moved there, I was kind of on the fence of like, I am all in, but like now I know very clearly, meeting the world's fittest man and like learning what it's like to be him or be as close as I can to him. I'll know within 4 to 6 months if I should just hang it up and maybe CrossFit's not for me. But
is there anyone who trains with you guys who doesn't have those? Do you have to have those goals? Are there any just casual, ridiculously fit people who train with you, or do you have to go to be in that group? Do you have? Is that part of the recipe for success that every person there has to be all in with the goal of winning the games?
I don't think by any means there's never a mentality you have to have in Cookeville. And it's like the faith piece, right? Like the foundation of Mayhem and what Rich has established here has been rooted in faith. And like, that's not a must have here. A ton of people move here and they don't like know God or have a relationship with him. And it's the same thing with a champion mindset, right? Like you don't have to have a champion mindset of, I don't care about anything but winning kind of thing. But it's kind of interesting that some of these qualities we're talking about in mentality and mindsets, the people that come here and thrive here and want to stay here are the ones that are trying to be the best, and they're hungry for that. It's just interesting because you asked the question. It's
when you say faith, it means that when you know that when you die, you go to heaven. Is that what faith means? What's faith mean?
I think for us here, it's for sure what you just explained, but it's a little deeper than that. It's like it's a personal relationship with God.
So not only you know when the body ceases to exist that you go to heaven, but second to second, moment to moment, you're with you're under the watch of the boss upstairs, the creator.
Right. Like talking to him all the time, hanging out with him. He's what gets you through it. He's your source of strength. And like you said, when it's all said and done.
You ever talking to God and you realize you're talking to yourself and not God? By that, I mean your ego interfered.
If you mean by that, for sure. Like I mess with myself all the time. Like I joke around in prayers all the time. Like, sorry, God, I got ADD. I don't know why. I was just praying to you and talking to you. And all of a sudden I'm, talking about something else that has nothing to do with you and all about me and other things in life that don't matter, for sure. I'm human. Yeah.
Luke Parker is human. When you trained with Lucas, did they have a distinction? He was Lucas and you were Luke?
Yeah, it was funny because when we were hanging out and training next to side by side, it was like some people would call me Lucas, someone would call him Luke, and it was just all screwed up.
Met Luke when Burns and I dropped into Mayhem about a month ago. Seriously, one of the nicest guys.
Caitlin, thank you.
He has no clue who you are. Stop lying,
Shout out. Appreciate the love.
How is it that someone can drop into Mayhem and see you? Aren't you like sequestered in the barn?
No, I think since the games, I've actually only been in the barn. Well, I can't say a few times. It's been a lot more than a few times, but we have this new athlete facility. Let me just back up.
Okay.
Rich.
Yeah, take your time, by the way. You can we have tons of time. Take your time.
Rich does a lot of things I think that people at Mayhem don't even realize. Like, for example, like obviously Mayhem's very successful. praise God for that. But like he puts a lot of that money back in the business, and it's obvious, his care and his heart, even though he won't talk about certain things. But like we have like a barn 2.0 now, and we call it the athlete facility, and it's literally the size of any extremely nice box. And it's now, if you go to Mayhem, the Mayhem logo and the kind of famous inn where everyone likes to take a picture in front of, right behind that wall is literally a barn 2.0, and it's made for the athletes. Mainly so like not just open gym hours, but whenever there's people training in there, as far as sharing equipment with the class, the affiliate, because obviously they have their first priority, right? Like they're the community, their first priority, they're what matters most in the gym. So now there's all that equipment kind of duplicated behind the gym. So it's almost like a second gym, and it'll be for semifinal and games athletes. I think Rich is still figuring out kind of like who's supposed to be back there and like when and timeline and all that stuff. But yeah, I mean, something as simple as that is just like huge for the community. And I think just a testament of like Rich's passion and heart and just like
Commitment.
Selflessness. But as far as like actually reeling back to your question, man, it's interesting. Like Rich is still a competitor and he still plans on competing. He's kind of in this like off season, figure it out, spend a lot of time with family right now. I mean, he just won his 10th, and I don't know he even knows what he's going to do this next season. And a lot of people are trying to figure out what they're doing this next season. And we've just all been training at Mayhem, like a big family, like hanging out with class members and stuff between classes and doing like different workouts like at Mayhem. Like we haven't been putting a whole lot of time in the barn and putting some time in the athlete facility. So to answer your question,
Can people when the members are there, can they look into that 2.0 barn and watch you guys work out?
Yeah, absolutely.
They can see in there.
Well, there's not like peephole windows, like, but like if people want to walk in there, there's not like an issue.
Right.
There is like garage door windows if you go outside the back door. So technically there's windows, but where was I going with that? Oh yeah. You brought up people walking in the coffee shop. So like, how can someone visit Mayhem and run into me? I'm there all the time. Like people visit all the time and I run into them all the time, just like Rich does. Like, it's funny. They don't expect it, but like people that maybe like, it happens very frequently that maybe their dream would be to meet Rich, and they walk in and like, he's hanging out with his buddies and sipping on coffee in Buffalo Brew Coffee House, which is like the front of CrossFit Mayhem. And they're like, can I have a picture? And then it's super cool because like we're all just super like just chilling, being ourselves, authentic. Rich is like, yeah, nice to meet you, welcome. Like there's stores over here, like check it out, good coffee, protein shakes right here. Let me know if you have any questions. And he's just cutting up with his boys, and it's just cool atmosphere.
And you go there every day, basically 7 days a week.
Yeah, I mean, I do a lot of my work there. Like I'll go back in the offices. My girlfriend works.
Girlfriend or wife?
Soon to be wife, hopefully.
I thought I saw on your Instagram that you're married.
I'm not married.
Oh, I saw did you give her a ring?
No.
What is this? Oh, okay. Maybe I was wrong, looking at the wrong Luke Parker. Okay. Yeah, this.
Oh, that's Mayhem Media.
Look at that ring. Beautiful wedding ring. And then I saw it. I'm like, oh shit, he's married.
Beautiful wedding. Yeah, talking about Scott and so the Mayhem Media director got married, and that was his wedding. That's him right there. That's Scott. Yeah, I didn't put a whole lot of details in that caption. That was
Did anyone else think you got married besides me? Anyone else say congratulations?
Well, at least didn't message me. But
oh look, Matt Souza liked it. Look at liked by Matt Souza.
Yeah, that was a good wedding.
So you have a, and that's your girlfriend in the picture.
Yes.
And how long have you guys been together?
We've met each other right before I moved to Cookeville. She had just moved to Cookeville and worked there. So now I've known her for 2 years. We've been dating for a year.
Congratulations. That's awesome.
Thank you. Yeah, she is awesome.
She works there in Mayhem? At Mayhem?
Yes.
Oh, yeah. Shit. That takes a special That takes a special. I mean, I worked with my wife for 10 years, but that takes a special relationship. Did you guys work out together ever?
Yeah, I mean, different like nonprofit events and stuff we'd mix in together, do like active recovery workouts together. Like she loves to get a pump on, which I love. So like we'll do like um some bodybuilding stuff together. She used to flirt a little bit with competing in that kind of thing, like women's physique back in the day. She's done all sorts of coaching as far as like spin classes, hit classes, and she's just loves fitness. So that runs parallel with me. So
Do they have spin at Mayhem?
no, but they got different style classes. I mean, we got spin with the C2 bikes, certain Metcons.
That's the gym. That's what Mayhem. That's the affiliate.
Yeah, it's actually bigger than that because where the camera is like on a balcony, and then there's a huge left corner that has another rig or two and tons of other stuff.
Can you imagine cleaning that every night? Someone has to clean that every night.
Yeah, we usually have a squad that consistently helps it day in and day out with that.
God, that's nuts. And wow.
Yeah.
And you probably don't see it empty that often ever either.
Sometimes. Certain times
Mayhem Spin. God, I would think Mayhem Spin could take over that Soul Cycle thing.
That would be actually really cool.
Tell me about this. I never heard of this guy until recently. What's his name? Brian Nelson. Tell me about him. He's the guy. He's the CFO of.
Yeah, he's actually the main reason I'm here.
Is he behind the scenes? Is he ever in any photos? Is he ever like?
Oh, yeah, he used to be heavily more involved. I mean, he's still heavily involved. He just used to be on site a lot more, I guess is the best way to put it. So when I actually moved here, he was my roommate. He was gracious enough to let me live with him. So he and I are like best friends. I love him to death. But yeah, how I met him, I was on a plane back from the 2019 games after I met Rich and Hillary and some of the Mayhem people. And we just started talking.
He was in the seat next to you?
He was the seat right across from me. And we just started talking about
like two big guys and you guys are in the aisle seat.
Yeah. We just started talking about all things faith, family, fitness, and then talk about Rich. And I thought he was just some guy that was like, yeah, I know Rich, but little did I know he's been doing like helping Rich with his finances for like 10 years and was like boys with him. And then, yeah, connected with him. He actually is the one that like started and created Mayhem Mission with Rich.
Mayhem Mission is the yearly event. It's a charity.
So technically Mayhem Mission is just the nonprofit.
Okay.
And we have many events and nonprofit organizations we partner with. And yeah, it's actually pretty cool. Brian just got married this past year. It was actually a really neat story. So I've been on this trip twice. He's been on it like 5 or 6 times, but where we go to the Amazon jungle and we go to Iquitos, Peru and connect with other CrossFit gyms there and like do like some fitness stuff there. And then we go in the jungle and kind of like evangelize and bring our doctor and supplies and stuff. And when we were there, not this past year, but the year before on my first trip, we met his wife's name is Sonia. And we met her at a restaurant where we were taking this gym and some of the people with us. And she just like comped our entire meal. And we literally brought like 20 people and we were going to pay for them. And she bought all of our lunch and was like, gave us her card.
Peruvian lady.
Yeah. Her dad owned the restaurant that we're eating at. We didn't know it. And she's like running the restaurant. So we like, she doesn't even really talk to Brian a whole lot. She like gives me her card. Me and the translator are talking to her. And
what do they speak? Do they speak Spanish or Portuguese in Peru?
So I didn't know this either, but just quick education piece.
Please.
Every single country in South America speaks Spanish. The only country that speaks anything different is Brazil, and they speak Portuguese.
Okay.
They also speak Spanish there.
Fair. Thank you.
I didn't know that until I went.
I'll remember that forever.
Yeah, that's the. I don't know. Someone told me that recently, so that's the easiest way to.
Does he speak Spanish? He does now.
Como estas?
Wow.
He speaks that kind of Spanish. He's a good old country boy from Alabama. You know what I'm saying? He's learning. He's learning.
What a trip. And so she courted him, snagged him.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, we get back from the trip. They started connecting about like future man mission stuff. And then she told him like, hey, I'm into you. And he was like, whoa. I might have to come visit and see what this is about. And then long story short, they just got married last year. So
Oh, what a great story.
yeah, it's pretty sweet.
Yeah, that's awesome. How was the food at a restaurant?
So good.
You didn't have, come on, be honest. You shit yourself for 3 days after.
No. This part of Iquitos, like the food's really good. When
Okay.
I was in the Amazon jungle, and I'm like a 5-hour boat ride deep in the jungle, and we show up to a village, and they're like, "Hey, we killed this animal in the jungle for you guys, and we're gonna cook it and make a soupy meat dish with water from the Amazon River that's completely contaminated. But here you go." That is when I crapped my pants for 2 weeks straight.
Hey, they can't boil that whatever's contaminated out.
Oh, they boil it, but I didn't know this either, and we got screwed. My first trip in the Amazon jungle, dude, we were like dropping like flies. I'm talking the worst squirts ever, like having to just go get the toilet and just like bad, dude. Not to get into details, but we were boiling water and we didn't know it has to reach boiling point and be boiling for 10 minutes or more to be completely clean. And we're like boiling it for like 30 seconds.
I saw a bubble. Drink up.
Yeah. And we're like putting our little like instant coffee in it and just cranking coffee because we wanted caffeine in the jungle. We're trying to, be in the moment and stuff. But yeah, we're done after that. It was bad. We all had parasites.
Oh, you did? You took some medicine when you got home?
Yeah, we took parasite medicine. It's actually kind of funny.
Did you ever see any worms?
I have parasite medicine just sitting over here, actually. It's hilarious.
Did you ever see any worms in your deuces?
No, it's not like that, but it just gives you diarrhea. You got to think too, like a lot of these people in the jungle, not just Peru, right? Like they drink clean water and have access to clean water, but in the jungle, the Amazon River is totally contaminated. So yeah, they live off that. They live consuming parasites. It's kind of like in Africa, right? When they have dirty water, you see these pictures. How can these skinny little boys or girls not have food, but they have these like bloated bellies, and it's from the parasite.
I've seen so
contaminated water. That's what it is.
Yeah, I used to travel all over the world giving vitamin with this company that was the largest distributor of free vitamins in the world, and they would give vitamin A everywhere. And I saw so many kids with bloated stomachs. I saw some crazy parasite shit, like flies being born out of people's faces live, and just
ooh, that's gnarly.
Luke,
yo,
the plan has always been to go individual, right?
Yes, sir.
And now do you feel some apprehension? I mean, is the day coming? Is this the year?
This is the year.
You can't be tempted to go on a team?
No.
No.
Unless, I say this every year, unless Rich was like, hey man, I want to go one more, which I think he's announced multiple times and made it very clear he's not. So I'm committed. I think I thought I was ready last year, but now I know I'm ready this year, and this is what I want to do. So I love team, and I come from playing baseball. I'm a team sport guy, but CrossFit's different as far as being an individual. And I still feel like I'm a part of a team, being a part of Mayhem and representing Mayhem. And, I'm happy to go do my part and represent them and kick some butt as an individual. I'm definitely ready, and I'm excited and fired up.
Did you just say that you thought maybe you were ready last year?
Yeah, I thought I was ready to be an individual last year, and I actually planned on being an individual. And then Rich was actually the one that was like, hey man, I think you should go team. And I honestly at first was like, you're crazy. Yeah. He was like, no, dude, trust me, you need that games experience, like especially if you're gonna be close to that cut line. And I was like, all right. And then it took me a while to, like, later than where we're at this time of the year right now, last year, to find out and confirm that I had 3 other people that would commit to the thing with me.
So like you were saying before, there's guys who've been in for 10 years and they could spend time learning everything. Double unders, walking on your hands, swimming,
Yeah.
all the different kinds of running, all the technical lifts, the pegboards, the ropes. And you've had to crash this into how many years? This is your third year of CrossFit, fourth?
I've completed 4 complete years. And to keep it simple, 2 at Think Tank, and I've just completed 2 full years now at Mayhem. So I'm going to my 5th official season.
So walk me through this. Have you signed up for the Open already? What are you laughing at? These
Sorry
pictures?
for laughing at you, man. I love you, bro. But no.
No.
I'll probably, most athletes, dude, sign up for the Open probably
30 seconds before
after like
closing.
the first workout's announced.
So you'll sign up for the Open.
I will sign up for the Open probably sometime in January.
You'll do the Open.
February, I mean. Yeah.
And then the quarterfinals, you do those are at home, right? You don't go anywhere for those.
Correct. It's pretty much the Open, but it's just a little more professional as far as, I think, was it top 5% make it, and you have to have an official judge and an official video. I think the Open, there's a little discrepancy there.
And then if you make it past last year, would you have made it past the qualifier to the semifinal?
If I went individual?
Yeah.
Absolutely.
And so now you're going to have this will be your first time ever competing in a semifinal as an individual.
No. So technically my first year moving here, I was an individual because I planned on being on a team, but there was no team. I actually wanted to be on Mayhem Independence with, like, in the back of my mind, the dream of being on Rich's team, right? Everyone's dream. So technically I was, but I was not. Like, Angelo and I were technically, Rich was kind of like juggling us as who's going to be my alternate, because we're the fittest guys available at the gym that wouldn't just completely blow this for me. Just being honest. And I thought I was fit moving to Mayhem, but like I said, that 4 to 6 months of committing to being an athlete, Rich beat the crap out of me for 4 to 6 months, and I became a pretty dang good athlete. They took a top 120 to qualify for semifinals that year, and I was literally 118th. So I was 2 spots inside the cut line. Barely made it. Was super stoked. Went to the MAC, and my goal at the MAC was to come top 10. And I think I came in 21st. Don't quote me on that, but it was somewhere around 20th place. So yeah, I didn't reach my goal. And that was actually the same year that Angelo had missed in multiple workouts by like 3 seconds qualifying for the games and made last chance qualifier. And then I actually kept training as if I did qualify for the games, did all games training, and kept destroying myself to try and qualify for the next year, planning to go individual again and punch the ticket, right? And then went team with Angelo. And he was the same thing. When I asked him to go team, Angelo was like, "Nah, man, I was so close. I'm gonna actually go indie again, and I want to make it." And then out of nowhere, he was like, "Let's do this, and let's get on the podium and stand next to Rich." And then I was like, "Let's go, baby!" Like, I was getting hyped up.
Wow.
So
hey, has Angelo ever been to the games as an individual adult?
In the adult division, the official division, I don't
think he has.
I don't think he has, which is crazy because last year he'll tell you, "No, I don't think I'm good enough." This past year, I think for sure he was. Yeah, he's got a couple little small holes compared, obviously, like we're comparing him to the top 40 in the world, right? Of like, peak shape and strength and fitness, but he's just such a good athlete and competitor. And it's because of his experience with Rich, like, not taking anything away from him, but like I mess with him. I say, "Dude, you got a Rich Froning brain cell." Because
I get that vibe from him too. When they're together in the same room, I can tell, oh shit, Angelo's a special cat. I mean, he's a big star next to his fucking giant star, but Angelo's definitely he's straight star power and workhorse.
Yeah, I agree. Yeah, like I noticed that at the MAC because we won the MAC this past year on our team. And like, there's a few workouts where I was even like kind of not really in tune with what was going on, the clock, where the other teams were, where my teammates were. And he would kind of like lead and guide me on the floor. And like his floor awareness is just ridiculous. Yeah, I love that.
Oh shit. Wow.
But yeah, like his
Wow.
floor awareness, which is something that's so like not really talked about, but like learning to be a competitor, have confidence, but have good floor awareness is something that like not a lot of people talk about, like I said. But
Angela's the fittest firefighter in the world.
yeah. Go
That's
look at
dope.
his Instagram bio. He'll tell you all about it.
You like that, Sousa?
It's funny I say that because when he was going into that occupational games thing,
yeah.
he was like, bro, I think I might have a chance to be the fittest firefighter. And I was like, bro, you got to do this. I'm that guy that's like, dude, you got to put it in your Instagram bio. I'll hype you up about it. Like, we were fired up.
He should put it in his bio. We're just busting his
he's
balls. Yeah, hell yeah.
He's stupid fit. And he like.
Okay, so he hasn't been to the games.
I mean, he's got 2 gold medals at the games.
Well, as an adult, as a past puberty. Past puberty. I mean, as an individual, he did team, which is
Angela
cool.
and Rich joke around about that all the time. They're like, about how he peaked in high school.
So he probably is he going to go individual too? You think?
Teenage medals. He might. I'm encouraging him to go individual if he can't find people that he wants to go team with. I've been trying to help him recruit a little bit. Part of me feels bad and wants to go team with him again, but he understands and he wants me to go individual. And I feel like that's like where my heart is at as well. So, but yeah, I think and I try to encourage him too. Like, dude, this time last year, we didn't know who our team was going to be. I was like, I've just got your commitment and we had to find 2 females. Like, you got plenty of time to figure this thing out. And we're all here at Mayhem, like here to help him. And it'd be crazy, right? Like, we make history in the sport of taking 3 teams from one affiliate gym to the game.
That had never been done before.
Never. It's unheard of. Like, 2 is a lot, but 3 is just stupid insane. And that's 12 people qualifying for the games from one gym for teams. It's just crazy. Anyway,
and one that wins the whole thing.
Right. Well, for sure, right, Rich. But I guess what I was trying to say is like that'd be kind of crazy if there was 3 and then the next year there was none. You know what I mean? Like, part of me wants to just go team.
What about you and Angelo and Taylor and Nisler?
I would love that. I think Andrea would be like, nah, bro. And Taylor would be like, I think Taylor's too busy with her schedule.
Andrew's going to go again. So Andrew's going to go again. She just hasn't found her team.
I think they both, I mean, we're all supportive here at Mayhem, whatever they do, but we know Taylor's really busy with school and doing the whole medical field thing. And I know Andrea's super hungry and competitive. And she said she'd continue to compete like Wadapalooza and this other stuff that she had opportunities to do and make money, but she's kind of in a space where she's having fun. I don't think she wants to compete again for the actual CrossFit season. It's just a lot of pressure and commitment. And
the thing is everyone's getting older.
Yeah.
And those windows will close.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure she'd said that she was committed to being done. She just wants to have some fun, but which she had fun at Zalo, so it looked like it.
Yeah, for sure.
She is such a savage. I'll watch her on this all day. That's entertainment.
Hey, so when you work out, it's like that. It's like to your left is Haley, and then down the way is Rich, and then to your right is Miss Nisler.
Yeah, I think that was one of the coolest experiences for me. And I'll never trade that for the world, was this past year being on a team training like my independence team with Angelo, neck and neck with Rich, even if it wasn't like 4-on-4 kind of thing. Like, even if it was like, I don't know, Rich and Sam Cornier or Rich and Andrew Niesler, like paired up in a 1-to-1, like rest 1-to-1 interval style workout. And then it's like me and Sasha or me and Alexis or me and Angelo, or whoever it was. Sometimes it might even be me and Sam, or even Taylor. Like we might mix members, but like that competitive atmosphere and having everyone in there, even in the individuals, like you said, like having Haley Adams in there and everyone else, is just like, I wouldn't change that for the world. Those workouts, those painful days, like the camaraderie, being together, the community, it was just amazing. It was special.
What will Sasha and Alexis do?
What do you mean?
Like, what are their plans for next year? Do you know?
Oh, what will they do?
Yeah.
Sasha's fully committed to individual.
Awesome.
And I love Alexis. She's been playing this like free agency role. I'm a baseball background guy, so I got to use that as examples for those of you who don't know. Well, I guess free agents are in all sports, but anyway, she's kind of like looking for another team. I think she said something like this might be her last year. Last year she was telling us that. But I don't think she'll do a team with Mayhem. I think she's got a team figured out already. I don't honestly know even who's on it. But yeah, she's great. I respect people that are like where she's at in the sport, because she's been doing it for 10 plus years as well. And she's having fun with it. She's got a big girl job. She's lining up her future, and she just wants to keep having fun and keep competing. So I don't know necessarily that she's like as serious as others in it, but she's having fun and she's competing. She's doing what she loves. So
I'm going to say that it must be weird leaving Mayhem to train somewhere else, because it's all downhill from there. You know what I mean? It's like, by that, I mean, it's like having a job at like 7-Eleven where you could drink all the Slurpees you want all day, to then all of a sudden getting an office job, like living in a broom closet. It's just, I mean, I'm just guessing that most people who train at Mayhem, they look forward to it. You know what I mean? Like the same way you look forward to going to school to hang out with your friends when you're in the 3rd grade. I'm guessing it's just like the environment's good, the food's good, the rest is good, the driving's good, the traffic's good. Like everything's just good for the except for the workouts. And yeah, it's interesting. I wonder what it's like for people to switch.
Yeah,
I'm guessing it's not fun.
I don't know. I've never done it. I don't plan on it. I would agree, though. I mean, that's just hilarious.
Do you think of a like what if you don't make it?
There is no what if.
Okay. Fair.
I'm not thinking like that.
Right.
So I like to have a phrase or a word going into every year. And it was really interesting. Like last Sunday morning, I was like going through my journal, and I didn't journal as much as I wanted to this past year, but I get really motivated leading up to the new year, and I get super motivated around New Year's, like most people, right? And I remember last year I was like doing some journaling and writing some things down, and I like wrote in all caps like all these like things I wanted to accomplish and things I wanted to live out as far as like mentality and mindset. And I saw this thing. It said, use this hashtag, like this needs to be your phrase for the new year, talking about this past year. And it was all in. And I thought it was really neat. I won't get into details too much, but there's this huge clash of these different things that happened to me this past Sunday. And I just got done studying with my small group, these guys I do Bible study with, the book of Acts in the Bible, which, long story short, it's about these dudes who are all in. Like they give everything into like preaching the gospel. And then I love this, no plan B. And then I go to church, and the pastor gives like an all-in message about burn the ships. And I want to share with you, because I know you've probably heard it.
Share it. I love it. Share
But dude, so like he starts talking about this Spanish conquistador, right? I can't remember his name off the top of my head. Anyway, who like, this is way back when, like Christopher Columbus days, sailing across, finding new land and stuff. Anyway, the Spanish conquistador comes across the pond to Mexico, where the Aztecs are, and they don't really know that the Aztecs are these, I mean, let's keep it real, these badass Indians who are all about warfare. They're way ahead of the schedule as far as like, they're not as primitive as these other tribes, and they're warriors really, and like savages. And these Spanish dudes are like, all right, well, we want the money here, the land. Like, there's all this potential, right? The stuff we want. But it's the main captain that's all eager for this. And he sees the land, the potential, and all this stuff. And he's like trying to get his boys on board. And his boys are like, dude, this tribe looks like savages. We don't have that many troops. We're outnumbered. Like, we're on these big ships. Let's go home. And he's like, no, I'm all in. And you guys need to be on board with me. And he orders everybody to burn the ships, as in, like your shirt you just showed. I love that. No plan B.
We're not going home.
We're not going home. Like, there is no way home. If we go home, we took them over and we're using their ships to get back home. And like, I just got super like deep and lost into like journaling this past few days and like thinking, because I like doing a lot of thinking and reflecting on the past year and thinking about what I want in my future as far as my life. And dude, that's where I'm at. Like, you ask, like, what if? To me, there is no what if. Like, I've burned the ships. There's no turning around. I moved to Cookeville 2 years ago. I'm all in. This is why I'm here. And I'm going individual. And like, there's no other option in my mind. Like, for sure, that's it.
And you're not afraid of emotional pain at all.
At all. I mean, come on. I suffered probably more than what most will ever in a lifetime on TV.
I love to hear that. Emotional suffering is if you can make it out to the other side, the benefits are like just massive. What it does to your fucking mental horsepower.
Makes you tough, for sure.
So tough and so friendly and so like almost unoffendable.
Yeah.
It's like you just have this huge, and you can feel so much more, but you got to come out the other side. You can't let it like scar you. You just have to be like, oh, wow.
Yeah.
I made it.
Yeah. I think it's part of that's just maturity of experience and being able to relate to other people, right? That's the beauty of having, I think, people in your life, friends, right? Brothers and sisters, if you will, to relate to them. Like, you're going through that hard time. Well, yeah, well, check this out. Look what I went through. Let's talk about how they run parallel.
I wonder if that year, didn't 1 year Rich not win the games? His team didn't win the games. They took second.
Yeah. I believe it was his first year.
I wonder if he cried.
I've heard stories
that he cried
from no.
Oh.
Okay. First of all, let me talk about this real quick. Rich doesn't cry.
Like, someone texted me the other day. He goes, I'm passing Cookeville and I can smell Rich's masculinity. Someone said that.
That's hilarious. He really is one of the most manliest men I've ever met. Anyway, even Hillary will poke and prod him because he doesn't cry. Like, I'll admit,
he only sweats. He saves all his moisture for sweating.
Yeah, like
his body cries, but not his eyes.
I've never met a man that like is so. I've only like met a few that are similar to this, where their emotions, like, he can control them on levels that I've never seen before. Like, for example, granted, he'd been once before, but when I went with the Golden Knights on this army trip, where, I mean, some of the most professional dudes, I get it, who are able to skydive as their skydiving army official team. I had the opportunity to skydive with Rich, and I'm like thinking I'm like one of the dudes that's like emotionally stable. And my heart's still adrenaline beating out of my chest. I'm about to go in, and I'm like trying to amp myself up, trying to be like, confident, positive thoughts. And he's like this. Like, if he held his hand out, he'd be like this. If I held my hand out, I'd be like this. Like, adrenaline, right? I'm shaking, right? I mean, he's icy, like stone cold killer. Like, it doesn't matter what the scenario is. It could be the most high stress. It's just crazy. But even emotional, like, if there's something that might gross someone out or make someone cry, like, he won't cry. He'll just be like, all right, what's next? And it's an interesting thing. I feel like I've learned a lot just from seeing how he handles certain situations. But I think that's one cool thing. And Hillary hates it.
He feels it though. I think because when he was on here,
sure.
Yeah, I think he's a deep feeler.
Yeah.
Which is the irony of it. He's not, I don't want to misrepresent him as this. He's a deep feeler. I don't think he's the type to push that shit down. He said last time he was on here, he's like, I don't do emotions so good.
He'll say that himself. He's hilarious about it. He's like, yeah, I'm emotionally illiterate. And it's honestly, I have some people in my family that are like that. Like my brother, for example, he's the last person that's gonna like give you a hug and touchy feely and be like, "Hey man, I love you, bro." But like he loves so deep, he won't tell you. But his loyalty and his passion, his love for you might be deeper than you can imagine, or anyone you've ever met. But like he's just gonna be like this, you know? And I feel like that's kind of like how Rich is, you know. He feels for sure and he loves deep and he's loyal, but like it's not all about showing it. And it's something that I want to get better at. It's something as simple as being a CrossFit workout. If I'm on an echo bike and I feel all this pain, I want to be like this.
He was emotional in that video that I saw where he almost suspended you for a week.
Why gotta bring that up, man?
He was emotional then. Hey, is that kind of flattering when he does that? Like if Rich yelled at me, I'd be kind of flattered. I was like, oh, I didn't know he cared.
Oh man, your humor gets me, man. That's hilarious.
What? It is kind of flattering, isn't it?
I mean, yeah, like it shows he cares, but like,
yeah.
Also, it's like disheartening. I'm like, no, man, I don't want to make you mad.
Dad's
Sorry,
yelling
bro.
at me.
Sorry, Dad. Come on, big bro. Don't be mad at me.
Hey, if there's something you're going to get in trouble for Rich Froning, you want to be that like you weren't pacing the workout right. Like it like great.
That's
fucking
actually, yeah,
great.
That's a good way. Yeah. Well said.
You don't want him to be mad because you messed with his kids or anything. Then you die. I mispaced the workout. I got yelled at.
Story.
Yeah.
Exactly.
I left the tractor on in the yard. Well, I crazy appreciate you coming on. I'm excited. Congratulations on making the commitment to go individual. I think you're gonna
thank you very much.
I think it's gonna add a lot of intrigue and interest for the fans. I think it makes the entire narrative better in the CrossFit space to see you doing that. You're with.
I appreciate that, man. That speaks volumes. Your support and saying that. I appreciate.
Yeah. Oh, it's going to be fun. It's so fun to add characters into the mix, and we all know, those of us who watch it know that it's the craziest endeavor. It's just so filled with pain and hardship. So
well said.
All right, brother. Well, thanks for coming on. Tell all the boys I said hi. Is Samuel training there?
He's not. He actually just completed his own barn gym in Canada.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, so he's got quite the projects and he's living the dad life, crushing up there. He will be here actually in a few weeks though, for the Train with Rich in December.
Okay, so he's still a Mayhem athlete.
Yeah. He's actually, he'll be staying in my house here in a couple weeks, so I'm excited to see him.
Awesome. All right, brother. Thank you, Luke.
See you, brother. Thanks for having me, man.
Yeah, have a good day. Stay healthy.
You too,
Stay
bro.
sore.
Bye.
Bye.
Oh.
I know. I need to have Sam on.
Forgot about this blue tape.
I never even looked at my notes.
I know there was a couple things I had pulled up here, like the baptism thing and stuff that didn't come up.
Yeah, he baptized the guy. I also was watching a video last night where Rich is like going off on him, and that when Rich is on a air runner walking backwards. I actually saw that on Andrew Hiller's YouTube channel. He did a whole thing on Luke getting yelled at, but he's walking backwards. Do you ever do that? I do that quite a bit. No, I shouldn't say quite a bit, but 3 minutes a day. Like I'll just get on the air runner and walk backwards. You ever mess with that?
Yeah, all the time. I usually drag a sled backwards as like a warm up, especially my legs are feeling pretty toasted or my knees are a little bit sore. Now that I'm getting into my older age here.
I've been pedaling the bike backwards too.
Oh, that's a new one. I should try that.
So chill though. I would do that so chill. There's some weird angles going on. I do that so chill. That's my name. Don't wear it out. This thing that's going on at the iPhone factory is just cracking me up.
I haven't seen it. I heard you talking about it when I was on my way home from the gym, like to get here. And I'm super curious as to what's going on with that.
It sounds like Apple's like lifting ship and moving to India. That there's some instability in China that they're not stoked on.
Interesting.
They have Foxconn. That company has 1 million employees that work on the iPhone. They have this one particular plant, which is their largest plant, which has 200,000 employees at one plant. Which
200,000.
They call it iPhone City, dude. The people live there.
That's
Souza.
That's 2 Livermores.
That's crazy.
That's 2. That's double the population that's here. We're like just under 100,000. That's crazy. My hair is froing right now. It's out of control, but I didn't want to wear the beanie on like the millionth time in a row. I think I'm gonna cut it tomorrow.
I looked at Alaska. I looked up Alaska the other day. Last night I asked Siri how many acres is Alaska, and it's 458 million acres. And I was thinking that's probably enough land for every person in the United States to have an acre of land and to have a road network and shopping malls and all that shit. Gives you another 100 million, but every person doesn't need an acre because there's families, right? Like,
yeah.
So you could put 200 million facilities on, and it's just interesting how big this planet is.
Mm-hmm. Like if you drive from here to New York, majority of the time you're just like, I mean, even when you and I drove down to LA to go to Newport,
yeah,
like we're in the major city. Then as soon as we get out of it, it just feels like there's nothing around us. And then you get over the Grapevine and we're like, oh, here we are. We're back in the jungle concrete again. But it just seems like there's a lot of space.
DJ Reed, Brian Nelson from Mayhem would be a great guest. He shares very similar views to you, Sevan. Oh, and that's why you wrote.
Oh, okay. I was like,
Sevan. Yeah, that's fine.
Got it right wrong the first time, right the second time. Yeah, I was thinking that same thing, that he would be interesting.
I have one of those fucked up names I just realized that I never have to deal with, but probably everyone's iPhone, when they type in Sevan, autocorrects it to Seven.
It does.
God.
Yeah, mine does it all the time. You can make it learn though, so it knows. If I capitalize this, it'll give me your name.
Yeah, I think Foxconn is the one with the nets around the building to catch the jumpers.
Yeah.
Hey, they even have video footage. They even have video footage of like people like climbing over a fence, like trying to get away. Yeah, like escape. Like, I mean, who knows? Wrong button. Who knows if it's real?
I just think it's so ironic when you see stuff like that, and then you'll have Apple that'll be like, doing some virtue signaling, and then people that are building the phones are like escaping, and there's some sniper like sniping them off the thing. They're like, back to work. By the way, we support whatever the popular cause is.
You're worried about making sure that every child has the ability to chop off their penis or remove their breast, and yet you.
Yeah.
And yet you keep 200,000 people locked up in a facility pumping out iPhones.
Yeah, yet the mothers there just have the kid on the assembly line. And like, have you seen that? I think it's like an American Dad or Family Guy thing where there's like a pregnant woman putting together the iPhone, and then she just has the kid, and then someone just comes and picks up the kid and puts it in the seat next to her, and then the kid just starts building the iPhone immediately. It's like, I'm laughing, but it's actually really quite sad.
Some people were walking among wheat fields with their luggage, blanket, and quilts, wrote a user of WeChat in the post. I couldn't help but feel sad. I couldn't help.
I
wonder if Rich would feel sad. Well, Foxconn has not disclosed how many workers at the Zhenzhou site has been diagnosed with COVID-19. The company who gives a shit.
That's the biggest issue.
Shut the fuck up.
Not the like borderline slavery, but the fact that if they have COVID or not.
iPhone production could slump 30%. Could. Shut up. Foxconn is Apple's biggest iPhone maker, producing 70% of iPhone shipments globally, which in turn makes up 45% of the Taiwanese firm's revenue. Oh, interesting. So it's a Taiwanese firm. Oh, do we have a call at 9?
Yeah, we do. 45 minutes. You know what else is crazy about those like major tech companies and all that doing all like the virtue signaling and like the woke stuff? If you ever sit inside one of their like board meetings or an internal like executive meeting, like how like cutthroat and hardcore they are, and like it doesn't, like your feelings don't matter. Like I heard a story because I'm family friends with somebody who works at pretty high up in Apple, and the story basically goes like somebody was saying, hey, we're having these issues at the factory, not this type of issues, like other issues and this and that, and then they all just stopped and turned and they said, then why are you here? And right there in the meeting, guy just stood up, got on the plane to go to China.
Wow, to fix it.
It's like, hey, you're sitting here telling us that there's this problem or this or that. Like, why are you here then? Why are you at this meeting? Why aren't you in China solving the problems? And if you brought that same kind of mentality to some of the like issues rather than just this virtual signaling and woke, like think of how much stuff we could accomplish. Not you need to be super hardcore and not have feelings, but just like focusing on the real issues that solve real problems, not virtue signaling and wearing wristbands that are gonna do nothing.
Do nothing. That's another thing that's going on at World Cup.
I heard you talk about that at the start. That's why I mentioned that.
They're so stupid.
Well, a lot of those countries too, like you're running directly in the face of their like religion and like you've seen what's happening over in Iran and stuff like that. And I'm not saying that I agree with any of it, but when you push against people that are very deep rooted in tradition and their religion or Sharia law or whatever it is like that, like they like if you think they're gonna bend over because the Twitter mob is coming, like you're in for a rude awakening, you know?
The Twitter mob.
Yeah, it's like everybody here, your biggest threat is to have something chopped up out of context of you on the internet, so you lose your sponsor deal, right? And it's like there's no morality.
These people say that out loud. It comes out of their mouth.
What?
That they're worried about their sponsors.
Exactly. I mean, that's the biggest fear. But in some of these other laws, if you do that or something like that, they'll fucking kill you or your family for it. Like go to North Korea and you can't even have an opinion on what clothes you like.
A kid just lost his. I just saw a kid just lost his scholarship in Florida, college football player, because of he made a video of himself singing a rap song that had words that he wasn't supposed to say. So it's such DJ Reed
crazy.
It's such hypocrisy.
Yeah,
it's that is sad to me.
Crazy.
Yeah, that is sad to me.
Yeah.
DJ Reed, $10 for typing your name wrong. It's okay.
Hey, that's cool though. If you got $10 every time someone spelled it, you'd be living large.
I'd be crazy wealthy. Look at this.
Budweiser gave out the beer. Yeah, because I think Budweiser had some really expensive, like multi-million-dollar deal to have just their beer sold there, and then they
75 million.
75. Yeah.
Fisherman lands whopping 67-pound goldfish, may break world record. It was sheer luck. Well, isn't that what all fishing is? He's going to need a bigger bowl. UK fisherman became the envy of anglers everywhere after reeling in a nearly 70-pound monster goldfish, potentially the world's largest. The guy's 42 years old, Andy Hackett. Look at that thing. This particular specimen, which is reportedly 20 years old, was apparently introduced in the lake 15 years ago as something different for the anglers to try to catch. Angling, that must be a kind of fishing.
Yeah, I assume. I don't know anything about fishing, though.
She is very elusive and does not come out very often. He threw this fish back. I guess you throw this back as a carp. You don't eat carp. It took him 25 minutes to reel that monster in. I look at this guy's fingers more than I do the fish. I can't stop looking at his forearm and his fingers. That guy's weathered.
Oh yeah.
That guy's 42. Come on, man. As our president would say, come on, man.
Come on, man.
Congratulations, Andy, to a great catch. In a similar miraculous catch in 2019, a Kentucky fisherman nabbed a 20-pound koi fish while using a biscuit for bait. You're comparing a 20-pound koi to a 70-pound. That ruined the article for me. Anyway, 70-pound goldfish. That's kind of cool.
Hey, are you more active on Twitter now? Are you doing stuff on Twitter?
Yeah. Yes.
Everybody that's on Twitter that's new on should go there. Go follow you.
Yes,
are you gonna be dropping like words of wisdom, or
I'm just totally. I don't know. I'm just twittering away. I'm just like.
I'm waiting for that to become some sort of new like disciplined obsession. Like same with the capable consulting, the child stuff. By the way, if any of you guys are listening to this that don't follow that already, you definitely should. But one day you were just like, yeah, I'm going to do one every single day. And you hammered one every
I've missed a few days, but most days I do more than one. So
damn. Because I even saw like after the rogue stuff and I was just spent like trying to move and we were in front of the computers all day. And then I click and you're out in the garage doing your assault bike, doing a cable. And I was like, God, I'm such a piece of shit. I should clean up more stuff in my house. He's out there working out and doing that.
This is in honor of your mention of Family Guy. Here we go.
So what are you kids doing in school? I got in trouble for saying something insensitive to trans kids.
What'd you say?
Well, a few of them started this a cappella group, and they're all kind of chubby. So I said, you guys should call yourselves the Trans Fats.
Meg, you'll sit next to me this evening.
But Dad!
I'm sorry, Chris. You've fallen out of favor. Perhaps forever.
What a great show.
Oh, I heard that they've gone. I don't really watch much of it anymore. I used to watch a lot of it, but I heard that they got softer.
Oh, really?
American Dad got softer. Yeah.
Oi.
I don't know. It was like in a meme I saw. Like South Park is just keeping on, but they've kind of.
I hope not.
I hope not. You could get away with so much more in animation than you can in like, you know what I mean? Like even
yes.
writing, like they could go to some dark places with those animated stuff. It's funny.
I love I watch. I don't remember. I can't even believe Family Guy's still on. But at one point, like I bought the first 13 seasons on iTunes, and me and my wife just crushed them. Yeah, soft. Yeah, please tell me it's not true. It's not true, right, Trish?
Wait, Trish changed the profile.
I know. Caleb says that's Angela Merkel. I don't think that looks like Angela Merkel to me. Is that Angela Merkel?
I don't know.
Angela Merkel is like way more like Madeleine Albright looking.
That's funny though.
If you weren't certain that the vast majority of people you know are just complete morons of the highest level, let me show you this to just remind you how absolutely smarter you are than everyone you know. Is it Angela Merkel?
Okay,
no.
Now we got to type it up. Now I got to see.
Okay, here we go. Oh, shit. Hold on. Screwed that up. Here we go.
Brand new study came out just a few days ago, peer-reviewed, published in one of the biggest journals called Nature, showed that vitamin D supplementation not only reduced the risk of COVID, but also reduced the risk of death from COVID by as much as 33%. As a reminder, the only long-term placebo-controlled randomized trial on the vaccine, which was a trial done by Pfizer themselves, showed it reduced death by 0%. But the bigger point is that vitamin D is safe, almost free, and available to everyone. So why was that dismissed as some hippy-dippy, tree-hugging BS snake oil idea when it had no downside? In the priority of solutions, you do the things that are virtually free, safe to virtually everyone, and available to everyone before you do anything else. So before we ask why are everyday people who have plenty of historical reasons to distrust a certain industry, why are they vaccine hesitant? Maybe we should be asking.
Talking about black people. Just say it, ding dong. The irony here is that vitamin D, the darker your skin is, the more important it is that you take vitamin D supplementation and it would be more effective for you. I mean, doesn't everyone see the writing on the wall?
Asking why are
these are the same people that support BLM, that support transgender athletes coming into women's sports. These are the same people that they're overtly have policy everywhere that crushes people the darker your skin is. And yet, just because they yell, we're concerned about people with darker skin, people believe that shit. Mm-hmm. It's like, how many times do I have to punch you in the face before if I'm saying, I love you, I love you, I love you? When do you be like, this doesn't feel like love?
Most of them don't. They never leave the house.
It's crazy.
Our doctors, political leaders, and public health officials so vitamin D and nutrition hesitant. Brand new study.
Hey, so this doesn't affect me or Sousa at all. This is like, so what? Who it affects is poor people, obese people, people whose skin pigment doesn't absorb as much vitamin D. It doesn't absorb as much vitamin D as people with whiter pigment. It affects all those people: Mexicans, black people, Indians.
Isn't it weird that anything that has
so fucking weird that no one sees that?
Well, there's a lot of stuff that has like a zero side effect too. Like if you take it, like let's say you're like, hey, to get off processed carbohydrates, take more vitamin D. If you're not feeling good, take vitamin C. And people would be like, oh, see, you're doing with your hippie shit. You know, none of that. This guy probably listens to Joe Rogan. It's like everything you prescribed, even if it doesn't work at all, doesn't have a side effect. Right. Like as long as you're doing everything in a moderate dose and you're not overdoing the vitamin D or something crazy, like it doesn't even have a side effect. So you could only have a positive upside, but with 0 to limited downside. Like, you know what I mean? There's going to be no negative effect from it, but yet people will jump on you and all over you and be like, oh, get your tinfoil hat on. Here we go. And you're like, what the fuck? Yeah, but believe the people that are selling you this shit, that have extreme conflict of interest, that have shown us complete distrust over the last like couple of years, in that you could draw the line from the money going to one of the execs to an exec that retired from Pfizer, that's now on the board of the FDA, that now donated to this political party, and you could see it, and it's all in front of our face. But then you say, hey, stop eating so much carbs, and like, oh, look at that hippie. Where's my drugs?
We're gonna kneel in the NFL, but all the other people with black skin, we're going to keep vitamin D from them. The truth about vitamin D from them. Jiggy Josh, we just have to be outside for 3 hours, which most places in the U.S. not warm enough. Yeah, thank you. Basically, people, I know I'm preaching to the choir, but skin color is just based on where you natively were supposed to fucking grow on the planet. The darker the skin, the more you're more likely closer to the equator, where you got more sun, where you didn't need to absorb as much vitamin D. And if you're fucking an Eskimo, I put a flashlight on you and you get enough vitamin D. That's it. That's that simple. And if I'm wrong, it doesn't matter. The spirit of what I'm saying is so close to being right. Just run with it. It's fucking crazy. And it's just the irony that these same jackasses act like they care.
And you know what's weird? It's almost like we're talking to a bunch of obese drug addicts addicted to porn.
It's like we're talking to a bunch of drunk.
No. Obese drug addicts.
Drug addicts.
Addicted to porn.
Oh, well, yeah, we are. You're right.
It's like the United States in a general there, right? Like how many people are on prescriptive drugs, whether or not they're positively affecting your quality of life or the ailment it's supposed to be treating, that's up in the air. But how many people are on prescription drugs for the rest of their life? How many people are overweight? And now with this new phenomenon of, oh, I don't really feel that great or whatever, I could just hit a couple buttons on my phone and now I'm looking at porn. Crazy.
Caitlin, I'm going to send you an article. You have to be careful with vitamin D supplementation because it's a hormone, and if poorly sourced can have negative effects. Better to get it from natural sources. Word. I hear you. Yeah, I agree.
Everything's better from a natural source.
I personally don't take vitamin D, but I'm outside all day.
Yeah.
Someone in here said, Sevan, Europe. Where is it? Hartle said it. I wanted to pull. Sevan, you're poor. You're living poor in California. Something. Whatever you said, it was right. Eric Weiss, I may get back on Twitter for Sevan. I've never been on it. I'm just getting like excited. I'm like, oh, I can go over here and just say whatever I want. Like I can just tell the truth over here. Did you hear about the church who had a threesome at the? Heard about the priest that had a threesome at the church? No, but it sounds right up my alley for a story I'd like to hear. Bruce Wayne just addicted to the podcast and CrossFit. I want to get on peptides. I got a really great compliment the other day. Andrew Hiller, we were talking on the phone. I was going to say he called me, but he never calls me. I just call him. And he said that putting in context how much drugs people take in the United States, pharmaceutical prescriptions, was really like that hit him. And basically what it was is like you take the gross domestic product of Finland or New Zealand and you times it by 2, and you still aren't at the amount of money that the U.S. spends on pharmaceutical drug consumption. Isn't that fascinating? That's
Absolutely
why when I hear
crazy
stuff, and this isn't a dig from people in New Zealand, but that's why when I hear about people like in New Zealand talking about what's going on here, it's like, dude, we know what's going on there. You don't know what's going on here. You're like just a city. I think New Zealand's like 14 million acres. Didn't I just tell you Alaska's 458 million? That's just one of our states. Sevan, you're poor in California. Yes, I'm very poor in California. I understand. I'm still, I understand. Trust me. I understand. I fucking crashed my car yesterday.
Wait, what?
I know. I think it's the only second time I've ever been in an accident in my life.
Oh shit! I didn't know about that. We talked a couple times. When did?
No, it happened last night. It happened last night. It happened late last night.
Bad? Is it like wrecked, or is it just like fucked up on the
No,
side or
no. I
something?
drove it home. It's just
Ah.
it rattled me because it's like I fancy myself as like being able to drive with my thumb in my ass and my eyes closed, weaving traffic. And I was just in a parking spot and I loaded up my kids in the car and it was late at night. And we were leaving a restaurant. It was my twin's birthday. And it's this parking lot that has the whole parking lot's open. It's behind this restaurant, except I had parked under this one spot where there's 2 spots under an awning. And there was a thin fucking pole holding up the corner of the awning. And as I turned the wheel, I scraped the fender into it. Not the fender on my Sienna is actually the whole bumper. And I just looked at it and I'm like, oh, it's going to be so expensive to fix and I have to get it fixed today. That's why I'm still talking on the podcast. I'm scared to go out there.
Because then you have to like face the reality of what you have to do.
Hey, can I just go to Toyota and be like, change my bumper?
I mean,
Does
you've
Toyota
seen
do
my
that?
car, dude. I hit the side of the thing and I didn't do shit about it. I mean,
I know. But I'm about to drive. I drive so much and my kids are in the car.
Yeah,
But my kid said something that broke my heart too. What did he say?
You put us in harm's way, Dad.
No, I wish it was something like that. But I mean, I was going like, 2 miles an hour and it looks like I was hit by a semi.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I'll send you a picture.
Oh, damn.
A guy in my department has OnlyFans and made $400,000 last year. Yeah,
Good.
I got a bunch of friends on OnlyFans that are killing it. But this one guy I text with all the time, he only gets paid like $7.50 for like doing the splits, like naked.
Yeah, he called in once too. We were chatting to him.
Yeah. I think he sells his underwear for $250. But he has to do stuff to his underwear, like wipe his butt with it or something.
Oh, that's so weird. That's so weird. Hold on, is this Angela Merkel here? Or is this the new?
Is that her? Is that okay? Hold on, let me pull up. I'll find
right here. Trish is find a body. So sorry. Go ahead.
God,
It's so close.
Hey, that picture of Trisha's. I know. Should I find a body shop? Why can't I just take it? It's just the bumper. Why can't I just take it in there and they just don't they have extra bumpers sitting around at Toyota? But this Trish picture looks like like at a wax museum version of Angela Merkel. Like just off a little. Yeah, I know, Mark. I know. Aren't you supposed to wipe your butt with your undies? No.
I always wonder, like Trish and like what Dick Butter looks like, and then the Dick Butter Instagram account posted like a bunch of pictures from the games, like these far off, like zoomed in, like hiding behind something photos, and I was like, wait, Dick Butter was at the games, and we didn't even.
Was he?
He was. Yeah. Well, the pictures on the Instagram showed that he was. Have you noticed Spiegel's new profile pic? Oh.
No. Oh, Spiegel's? Like our Spiegel or the Spiegel?
Yeah. This house Spiegel. Oh, my light. What the fuck? I got some weird shit going on over here.
Okay, I want to show you one more thing before I'm going to do one more procrastination here.
Okay.
So I don't know why, but I don't really watch anything on YouTube except when I'm on the assault bike and I'm researching the podcast. Like I don't watch YouTube on my computer. On my accounts where I post to YouTube, I just post to YouTube and leave. Like I don't hang out on YouTube. But for some reason, especially with my Capable Parenting YouTube channel, every time I go to post on my phone, they have a bunch of videos that they want you to click that pop up right away. And one of them always is a girl in like at some track and field event bent over. and then it immediately starts and it shows her like pole vaulting. You know what I mean? The video just starts.
Yeah. It's the photo that you see in the little
yes
thumbnail. Yeah.
And it's always them like pulling their shit out of their butt or whatever. And I'm like, I don't watch any of this. I'm not into track and field. I don't click on any of like the girls dancing shit. Like I don't do any of that. I don't have time for that. I just want to post my stuff and get back to what I want to do. But for some reason, they fucking cracked the code on me. And it's like so much, I don't know. But I saw this pop up in Twitter the other day, and I watched this, and it says, she knows how to play the game. And this, I mean, I can't stop, but keep thinking about Danielle Brandon every time I see this. But look at this video here. This, I don't know who, is that Texas A&M?
Yeah, I assume so.
Okay, here we go. I don't know. Probably someone knows who she is, if she's someone famous or not. Like they cracked the code on me. Maybe I feel better watching it with you guys. That way it's not me just staring at girls on the track. I'm going to get my boys in the track and field. And she's good too.
Yeah.
Is yours like that? Is your YouTube full of this? Now look at her. Look at her. Straight to the camera.
Oh, damn.
Crazy, right?
Yeah. I always wonder, she's like messing with it now a little bit. I always wonder too, like, is she just like doing that because she knows she's going to cut it and she's trying to take this opportunity to build like a personal brand on a social platform so then she could take that career and kind of like, you know, spin it off into something more long-term? Or
it takes what Luke Parker said to a whole new level, that basically he was saying that Angelo and Rich have great field awareness. This girl has camera awareness.
Mm-hmm.
Crazy camera awareness. Yeah, she knows where all the cameras are.
That's funny.
This article, I can't wait to show you guys on the next live call-in show. It talks about the first transgender clinic,
which is tomorrow, right?
And is it?
Yeah.
Oh, thanks for scheduling that. That's awesome. I love those.
Our Thanksgiving, I think we've done that both. This is our second Thanksgiving with the podcast.
But check this out. This couple had twins, and one of the boys that they circumcised, it was a botched circumcision, which means they fucked his cock up. They ruined his cock. And so to deal with it, they turned him into a girl.
I mean, how bad was it? How bad was it botched though? Did they have a choice at that point?
Dude, you don't turn. I would rather have no penis than be turned into a girl.
How young was the kid? Like,
you talk me through it. I want to hear you talk. I want to hear you convince me. I want to hear you convince Sevan. Would you rather be a girl? We can turn your penis into a vagina, or we can cut off half your penis. Go ahead, cut a half of it off. I'll keep the half. I just keep half then.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, I'm just this thrown out of the option.
Tell me.
Like, how young was the kid? Did they just? I mean,
baby.
Yeah. Fuck. That's just a shitty hand to be dealt. But I feel like.
Hey.
Okay. Would that be the equivalent of like?
Hey, and it was in Canada. If that doesn't like help you understand.
Hey, would that be the equivalent of like you got your car, like the bumper fender, like the fender bender because of the thing, and you're like, all right, fuck it, let's just drive this thing off a cliff now. Strip it down, turn it into a motorcycle. Is that where I went with it, as opposed to just like, oh, let's just deal with the incident and make it the best we can? Dude. What if they went the other way and they're like, hey, as soon as this kid turns 15, bring it back in. We're gonna just put a monster cock on it for our screw up.
Yeah, why not? Why not? Yeah, why not try to? Yeah, instead of turning it into a girl, why not give it just like, hey, we're gonna make the world's first prosthetic cock.
Just enhance it.
Why? Yeah.
The babysitter goes to change the diaper at 3, and it's like, whoa.
Researchers then gave opposite sex hormones to 55 children in the study. What the fuck is wrong with people?
But if you suggest that they take some more vitamin D, you're the conspiracy theorist.
Wow, I didn't even put it in context like that. That's some scary shit.
It's also just strange that there's a lot of, I mean, kids are changing their mind all the time. And by kids, it's like, from the age of like 5 into the age of like 18, you're constantly changing your mind. I know I was, especially through high school, like I was doing just a lot of stuff for like social acceptance. And so we know this as kids are developing, especially trying to find their identity and trying to find their place in the social thing. Like even as a boy, you do some dumb shit. Hey, that guy said something. You could let him say that. You should go over there and pick a fight with him. You're scared to death. You hate violence. You don't want anything to do with it. But you're like, oh, fuck, everybody thinks I should. Well, I better do it. I mean, you know that these pressures exist across a broad spectrum of things. It's like, why in the world would we just purposefully interject another thing into that has unreversible changes being done, right? It's even like with tattoos. There's a reason why they're like, hey, you got to be 18 to get the tattoo. We don't want you to make a decision at this younger age to where you're going to have to live with this for the rest of your life. Just give it time. And even if that's the path you want to take, we're all for it. We're just saying, just hold off a little bit longer on it. And I mean, even in terms of sex, right? Like you go back and, you hear fathers of the daughters, well, kid isn't dating until they're in their 20s and like all this type of stuff to try to keep away. I mean, my parents, basically the deal was my dad would always say, girls will fuck your life up if you get too crazy involved in it. And then my mom would always just basically say, there's plenty of time for that when you get older. Just focus on these things now. There's going to be plenty of time for that. Right. And so now all of a sudden you take that instruction or that advice, and now it's like, figure out your sexuality at this. And if they choose this, don't just support it and give them space, but just totally lean into it now. Make them go all the way to the other end of the spectrum. Not just say, hey, we're supporting you. We love you for
taking permanent, life-changing actions because of impermanent thoughts.
Yeah, it's nuts.
I stole that from someone wrote that in the YouTube channel about tattoos. They're permanent markings around impermanent thoughts.
Yeah. And then to Bruce Wayne questions, what book are you currently reading? I'm actually still absorbing that first book that I talked to you guys about. I'm completely blanking on the title now. The Battle for the American Mind. I'm just finishing that one up. And this next book that I'm getting into is actually on how interest rates and interest on loans was created, and where it's gotten us now and how that's evolved over the years. So I'm sure that one's going to take me a while too, because the denser the book or the more the material, the more time I spend like thinking about it or like looking stuff up. So it takes me a little bit longer to get through. But yeah, those are the two.
Hey, what happened to that guy? We keep talking about him. He only had like 800 followers, but someone recommended I get him on the show. I think he was a jiu-jitsu guy. He had a crazy story. Did he fall through the cracks?
No, we got him on. The guy who was a black belt in jiu-jitsu and like wrestled down all the people stealing.
No. This is new. God, I'm in a bad spot. I just started panicking that guest fell through the cracks. Probably not. I'm always wrong whenever I think that.
Yeah, usually if they come through, I put them on a list, and it's even if it's not right away, we always make our way around to them.
If I've reached out to you and asked you to be on a podcast and I didn't follow through with it, please remind me. Basically, I
thought you were going to say, please blame Matt.
No, that too. You're welcome to do that. But basically what happens is there's just so many people I'm courting at once to keep the show rolling along.
Yeah.
And people fall through the cracks.
And having a live show every single day, it's like we got to be out ahead of it, and things kind of change, and people's schedules change. So it's always a work in progress. I always vision this podcast as like a sculpture that we're constantly molding. You know what I mean? And then it takes a different direction. We go, okay, let's mold it this way now. And because you're always working on it. It's always evolving. It's always building.
Always
stuff being added to it. We're always pushing the boundaries.
More things that you're supposed to be offended by. More things. Blackface, but not one. So you can if you're a dude, you can turn your face into a woman's face. But you can't paint your face black. God, we live in such morons. We live with the moron police. Why is that? If I start thinking, you guys want to see Catherine's doppelganger? I can't stop showing it.
Yeah, this is good.
I showed it yesterday.
I think because things are it's really convenient, it's really comfortable, and there's like a fire hose of information that's always coming at us, whether it's entertainment or whether it's news or whether it's propaganda and stuff. And so there's not enough space for people to really have like deep thought unless you create it, and you have to create that space in today's world, and a lot of people just don't. So I just really think it dumbs down our ability to logically think something through. That's the excuse I'm given. Or
they don't even know how to. They don't even know how to.
Obese drug addicts addicted to porn. We could.
when I'm with people who I unfortunately hang out not often. Occasionally I hang out with people just that there's subjects that are just are off the table that just they refuse to talk about.
Interesting. Why do you think that is? It pushes up against their own like beliefs.
I
or
think
they have to
I think
wrestle
two
with it?
reasons. They're afraid I'm going to unfuck them, and two, they don't have the emotional stability for some reason to handle these conversations.
Yeah. I
No,
love
do you know what I mean? Like
yep.
I know people. I've met people in my life. You can't say the word snake around them. I remember one time I was at this mission in like Honduras in the middle of nowhere, and one of the girls there, you couldn't say the word snake. She would go into a fucking panic attack.
Yeah. Well, that
Whereas
was
I have no problem with that one word that my mom doesn't want me to say on the show. Here it is. This I have no problem with. I don't have any like I don't have any like anything like that. I mean,
Yeah.
I if someone vomits next to me, I'll get like I've cleaned up vomit before and felt myself kind of like my body start like
Yeah.
want to add to the pile.
Yeah.
But other than that,
I got a funny story about that.
I
don't know.
Yeah, go ahead.
Well, I was just gonna say, speaking of that, is like, I remember we were out taking these dogs for a walk, and back in the day, Grace used to house sit a lot of dogs, just because a lot of people traveled and stuff around us and trusted her. So we were walking these dogs, and every time we walked the dogs, I carried the poop bags, I'd pick up the poop, right? And one time the dog went to the bathroom, and I was like, okay, I'll get it, and I was like always, or just made some tongue-in-cheek comment to Grace, and she goes, no, I'll do it. And I go, no, you don't. I got it. She goes, no, give me the bag, because she gets real stubborn when you tell her she can't do something, right? So
I don't let my wife pick up dog poop.
She gets it. Either did I. And
I don't let my wife pick
never
up
again after this will she do it. But she goes down to pick it up. Right when she does, I go, eh. So
just to fuck with her?
Yeah. So I make the sound twice, and then she goes into this whole gagging episode, and she can't stop herself from doing it, but she's doing it seriously. And
that's amazing.
And going back to what you were saying before, there's certain like things that, especially smells, and I use this term loosely here, that will like trigger certain things, right? So you get a smell that'll like trigger a certain memory, or you'll have a certain reflex or reaction to something, and all I have to do is make that sound, and then she gets close to it, she smells it, and then it's like it's taken over. Now she can't like stop it on her own. So
maybe I'm not fun to hang out with, because like those are the topics that interest me, like just heavy, just I don't even know if it's heavy, but I'm not interested in just surface talk. I'm not interested in like, oh, that's a beautiful bird. I'm interested in like that bird has is the only black-billed bird that lives in the Pacific Ocean and is able to fish out 12 fish a minute, but it's also been on the endangered species list and come off of it. Like I'm not interested in just I'm not interested in just superficial talk. I want to know like what faith means. Like I keep hearing that word faith every time, or anytime I hear fucking, and I start lumping these people up. Unfortunately, I start judging them as morons.
If they
like,
don't
the word transparency, I keep hearing that, and I just want to just punch people in the face. Like, you didn't even say anything. You didn't even say anything. Every time you use words that are vagaries like that, you're pushing everyone around you into their head so that they can like spin up a whole little narrative about it.
Yeah, it's ambiguous.
But like, I want to lean over to the mom next to me in jiu-jitsu class and be like, so what do you think about abortion? And like, people, what the fuck? Or like, you could just say Trump in a cafe in Santa Cruz and people lose their shit.
Oh, we should do a whole bit of that and just put me in a MAGA hat, and I'll just like go into businesses in Santa Cruz and see how long it takes for somebody to like enforce their opinion upon me.
They will. Well, you know what's funny is occasionally I will see someone doing that in Santa Cruz. I always give them a thumbs up. It's like, it shouldn't, like, what do you, like,
hey brother,
imagine being so.
Oh yeah. You were gonna pull up the doppelganger pic.
No, I'm not. I did it yesterday. I need to give it some breathing. I will bring it up again though. The catch from doppelganger is amazing.
Yeah, I enjoy talking to deep issues with you as well too, because you're also open to other information. I don't like talking about it when someone is so drug in on their opinion that like they're not listening to what you're saying, but they're more so just like forming their opinion. You know what I mean? So it's like they're not even receptive to the information, as opposed to like, you'll go, I hear you, but have you considered XYZ? Or I don't disagree with that, but have you factored in this? And then that's like a nice back and forth discussion where both of us could kind of take something away from it.
Yeah, so few people are willing to do that. So I saw this. This is old. Stephen Bartlett wrote this. Set clear boundaries and protect them.
Sounds like something you've said.
I don't know. That triggers me.
Why? You do that with your kids?
I do that with my kids, but not with other people.
Right.
You don't lose real friends. I've had my closest friends have done some of the worst shit to me. Real opportunities are real relationships when you start standing up for yourself and setting clear boundaries. You lose abusers, manipulators, narcissists, attention seekers, and mental health destroying leeches. I don't know, man. I see this. I see this kind of stuff. Bad people need good people. I'm not saying if your boyfriend beats you, you should stay with him. I'm not saying if your girlfriend
not at all.
is fucks one of your friends every time she comes over. You have a friend come over to the house, you stay with her. I'm not saying that. But there's these people that I think we live with such weak people that they just use things like this to escape hardship. Meaning like at work. Like if your boss is giving you trouble at work and like you don't like them, let go of whatever story you're telling yourself about that person. Remember, you're also holding them in a cage by having those thoughts about them.
Yeah, and this is perfect for the context of like people saying a bunch of stuff that now we all have different stories and we're spinning in our head about this because there's nothing very specific here. Right. If you were like set clear boundaries and protect them, and then he gave a list of like, here's the boundaries that I protect, right? Like I don't answer my phone on Sundays, whatever the case may be with that individual. Then you could go into it, say, and here is the type of friends that like that didn't agree with this that I ended up creating distance with. I hate these type of. There's just no substance to it.
I've built a life for myself where it's just in this flow, and I don't even have to worry about most shit like this.
Yeah, it sorts itself out.
And there's this saying that says, if you don't talk to strangers, you don't talk to angels. And that, for me, that's like one of the cornerstones of my life.
I've thought about that since you said it. When you said most people that'll like be too much on their like moral high ground to like ever sit there and talk will pass somebody up on the street that doesn't necessarily that they're judging, and it could be Jesus right there, and you just weren't open enough and present enough to be able to recognize it because you were too busy in your high moral lane there.
How about that dude at Scott's gym that touched him and put the Holy Ghost in him?
That's a crazy story.
And like Scott, I don't think Scott maybe gives himself enough credit, but you got to be open to that shit.
Yeah. Haven't we've now talked to quite a few people that have like similar framework in terms of, I was like thinking about this. It kept like, it was in my mind a lot. Then I show up and then now somebody at the gym is like, here, I want you to have this. Like, because wasn't Ariel Lowen, didn't she have something real close to that too, where she was dropping it at a CrossFit gym and somebody came over and that said that?
I think so. Yes.
Yeah. It's like the same framework.
Yes, that's right. That's right.
Yeah. I think we've had a couple more people on the show that have very, very similar things.
And so my life, I'm in this loop where that shit can happen to me, and I don't, and I have enough space in my life where I don't need to just walk by everyone that I'm afraid of. I can face my fears. I haven't been in a fist fight in, I think the last fist fight I was in was my sophomore year, and I got fucking
high school,
jumped.
college.
I got jumped and knocked the fuck out. Oh yeah, I have been I was in a fight. I was in a couple of fights in college. Actually, I forgot about that. I've been in a handful of fights in college too.
Yeah.
Nothing really good. Nothing. I think I've only thrown the first punch in maybe like two. I can only think of two fights. One was in the 7th or 8th grade, bigger kid. I just opened with a kick. It was awesome.
Sorry, I didn't mean to laugh so loud.
And then another time in high school, I can remember taking a swing at a guy and missing, and he put me in a headlock and started just punching me in the face.
I had that same thing happen to me once too. I wound
Swung
up and
and
like,
missed. What a
this is
douche.
it. I'm taking you out. It just it just got pummeled. Luckily for me, it was inside of a classroom, so I was saved very quickly. And then, of course, once I was like saved, I was just like puff chest. Yeah, let me get back at him. And really,
Oh yeah, that me too.
was
My
like,
friend
"Thank
stomped
God."
this guy, and then I started talking shit. It was so stupid. I had no business taking a swing at this guy. It was complete idiocy.
Yeah.
Such
Yeah.
idiocy.
I was never a fan of like the peer pressured like fights. Like someone would call you out after school. Like I would
Yeah.
have like secondhand, like, you don't really want to do that, do you? I could tell you're super nervous. And then the other kid would kind of like be into it for whatever reason. I always hated that. Unless they wanted to fight.
The after school fight.
Like an MMA match where both people agreed to it, then I was like all about it.
All right, I'm done.
Yeah, we got a call in 4 minutes.
Oh, that's what the guy who's the expert on. Is Hiller on this call?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, okay.
He's gonna call you though because he only had your phone number, so he'll call you at 9.
That guy calls me. Okay, let's go.
Yeah.
Okay, guys, thank you very much. We'll see you guys tomorrow morning at 7 a.m. Bye. Thanks for hanging out. Jay Hartle, House Spiegel, Jiggy Josh, Kenneth DeLapp. Look at Spiegel already booting us off. DJ Reed, Vindicate. See you guys. New Vindicate gear is coming out. It's our Miami gear for that one event.
Miami Vice gear.
For that event. That's awesome event that's going on in Miami. I am looking for a sponsor so we can send some people there to try to cover that event. So far, not so good. Okay, bye.